Do you have a crankcase breather that you broke and it's stuck inside the valve covering and you don't know how to get it out? That's what I'm going to talk about here. So I was doing some routine maintenance. I came across the PCV valve, decided to check on that and replace it if need be. And while I was at it, I came over here to the crankcase breather, wanted to check that thing out, and I ended up breaking it. So I looked all over online trying to find a solution on how to fix that without taking the valve cover off. Now right there you can see the yellow, that's just tape, and it's covering the hole that the crankcase breather used to be in. Now I got online, tried finding answers to this. I came across some forums where two other people had this exact same issue, and the only solution that they were coming across was to remove the valve cover. There was a lot of argument about whether or not it was a PCV valve or a crankcase breather, and for verification we got the PCV valve over here on the passenger side, and that looks like this. And then over here on the right hand, on the driver's side, is the crankcase breather. And that's the piece that's in question here. So, originally the crankcase breather, it kind of looked like the PCV valve where it has a T in it. And when I went to take the hose off of it, it just straight up broke. And the rest of it stayed inside the valve cover. So that tape's just covering the hole there, so nothing gets in it. Now, I watched a video, 1A Auto. They have like 80 videos on how to repair this truck. This is a 1999 Dodge Ram 1500 4x4 quad cab, 5.9 liter engine. I've seen tons of videos, and pretty much everybody that has the crankcase breather on the majority of videos, their breather looks like this. Obviously there was some change at some point. Drastic difference than this. So what happened, guys, was this thing broke off, and then I did everything I could to try and pull that thing out using my hands. I ended up getting a screwdriver and trying to get underneath here, because there was a base, a plastic base that sits on top of this grommet. Now, trying to do that with the screwdriver, I ended up breaking that. I was pulling it with one hand and using the screwdriver to try and pry it out. I just ended up breaking that. I tried getting two screwdrivers and, you know, using it like a fulcrum, using a leverage type of thing, and pulling it with the other hand. Nothing worked. I just kept breaking stuff. I got a piece of tie wire. I got this around it underneath the base that was there when I still had a base, and tried pulling that. That didn't work. Then I also got this, wrapped it around underneath the grommet itself, tried pulling it from underneath the grommet. That didn't work. Nothing but problems. This grommet is, I mean, it's hard, and you can see we fixed the problem. I'm going to show you what we did here in a second. Anyway, guys, this was an utter nightmare. I can't even tell you the words that came out of my mouth when this happened. But anyway, once I ran out of options, I called my dad, and he thought about it for a day or so, and then this is the solution that we came up with. Right here, this guy. So we ended up getting a piece of tubing. This is a 1/2 inch from one end to the other here, 1/2 inch, and then so we got 1/2 inch tubing, and ended up putting this over it all the way down, tightening it up, and then we ended up pulling on it. Now, that sounds easy enough, but still wasn't just that easy. Now, once we were pushing this hose onto it, the problem we started having was we're putting pressure on this, and then this started to want to go into the valve. So I had my dad was pushing on it while I was getting a screwdriver and just jamming it into, you know, it's still in place, it's still in the cover itself, but I'm using this to put tension on it while he was pushing down on the hose to keep it in place so that we didn't push this whole thing into the valve cover, because then we'd really be having issues. And the whole point was to avoid taking that valve cover off. So anyway, long story short, so he's pulling this as hard as he can, and then I'm a smaller person. I was able to get up here into the engine, put my feet down on the frame, and get good leverage. So while he was pulling on that, I came in here with another hand and grabbed it down here at the base and was pulling it while he was pulling that. So I mean, we got two grown men pulling on that thing as hard as we could, and we finally got it out. Anyway, guys, that is the way to get this out of there. At least that's the way we came across it. So I would imagine, you know, if something happened with the PCV valve, same situation, that's a route to go. I'm sure there's many other applications that this would apply to, but that's what we did. That's what worked. Thanks for watching. Good luck, everybody.